Hello and welcome to the Balance Babe podcast. Today I am joined by my friend and colleague in the space, Katie Ruffino. Today we're going to be diving into a very cool topic that I'm excited to learn more about, which is NLP. And I know, Katie, you have many, many talents and expertise areas, but I wanted to focus on this specifically because I think it's something that it can help a lot of my clients overcoming a lot of blocks that they have in their healing journey with their habits and all of that stuff. So we'll dive right in. But if you want to introduce yourself and then just tell us what the heck NLP is and what it stands for and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everyone, my name is Katie, and I originally trained in the medical field, so I'm a physician associate, and I do functional and regenerative medicine. So what that basically is, you guys know about functional medicine from what Avery does. The regenerative piece is also stem cells, peptides, PRP, all the fun stuff. So I basically, went to school for long time and wanted to learn about health and healing. And through my journey of helping patients and working with different people, also through my own health journey, I understood that healing is so much more than just the physical. And we know that the physical health piece is really important, but there's also the other components. There's the emotions, there's the mindset, there's the energy, the spirituality component to health. And I've just been on this journey of, figuring out what is the key to living a really healthy life. And so started off in the physical, which is the most superficial, then continued on, and I just finished my training to become a Master Practitioner of NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming is what it stands for. And so I've been working with clients for that, and I will say that it is profound. And I feel like this is the missing piece that I wish that I had sooner when I was working with clients and patients years ago, and also for my own health journey. And just to also preface, NLP is something that is for really anybody. And I know the people that are listening to this podcast or watching the video have probably struggled with their health in some way and have found your podcast to find answers. And they likely have, nervous system dysregulation, maybe some gut issues, maybe some immune stuff, or some mold toxicity or other heavy metal toxins or other environmental toxins. And so, unfortunately, in the medical system, people who have these sort of mystery illnesses where they're told that everything's fine, often there's something deeper that's being missed or not being addressed. And so, through working with Avery, you've probably understood that there are multiple facets to health and the root cause, understanding our gut microbiome, our immune system, nervous system, emotions, things like that. And so as I've also gone down this path to understand how to help someone heal, I've noticed that mindset's a big piece. And not just if you believe that you can be healthy or not, but it's so much deeper than that. And it's understanding the psychosomatic connection and how our thoughts really do create our reality. And the phrase, "it's all in your head," might be a little triggering to a lot of us because we've likely been told that by different practitioners in the Western medicine world of, oh, it's just anxiety or it's stress or just eat a kiwi if you're constipated, And that misses so much depth to what it actually means when it is in your head. And what I've discovered through my training in NLP is that the mind is so powerful in manifesting disease. And it's not just as simple as it's a little bit of stress or it's a little bit of anxiety. It goes deeper to understand that a belief system can manifest as a physical ailment, for example, and it's very specific too. So for example, a woman with left breast cancer might actually have empty nest syndrome. And there's these specific ailments that somebody can have that if you look back and correlate it, and there's been 40,000 studies that this doctor's done, something called Germanic New Medicine, if you've ever heard of it or anybody on here has listened to that or heard that term. But I can go deeper into that in a bit. But basically there's been thousands and thousands of studies that have been done to confirm that there is a correlation between our beliefs and our physical ailments. And you can pinpoint it down to a T of, if you have this physical condition, it's likely related to this psychological belief, like that you've been holding on to. And it sounds simple, and it is to an extent, but it's also complicated, right? Because we have the physical body, we have the emotional body, the mental, and the spiritual bodies too. Sometimes you need just physical help. For example, if I took these scissors and I was cutting my shirt and I accidentally cut my skin, I'm not going to do NLP on my skin to heal. Right. I'm going to go to the ER if I have a deep wound. So I need stitches, or I need a Band-Aid, or, there are certain physical things we need help with. Or if I was just living in a mold-ridden house, which I was, I'm going to need to detoxify my body from that mold. I don't need NLP about that. But what I might need NLP for is to get anything out of the way that's preventing my body from healing. So what I've noticed and what I've learned with this type of work is that there are people, though, who have done all the physical things and they're stuck. Like, I don't know what to do next. I'm eating the right foods. I'm, trying to work on my nervous system. I'm getting my walks, going for my exercises and getting enough sleep. But why do I still feel sick? And so oftentimes, if you've done everything on the physical level, you need to then go the next level up, which is then the emotional, mental, spiritual. Yeah. So I'll start there.
Yeah, that was a really great intro. And I think NLP is so cool because it's not just, you can apply it to different parts of your life too. And you can apply it to those health blocks, you can apply it to wealth, to self-belief, to attracting certain partners and relationships. Like, there's so much more to it. And obviously we'll focus on the health realm because this is a wellness related podcast, but it's so cool because, like, I always say, your health is like the foundation of your entire life. And if you don't prioritize your health and yourself, you're not going to be able to make money. You're not going to be able to maintain healthy relationships. And so when you start on the body, on that emotional level and physical, then that's when it kind of like, it starts to expand into different areas of your life. So as far as NLP, I thought it was super interesting you said about the breast cancer and the empty nesting syndrome. Like, that's, I'm sure there's so many correlations like that. So a lot of women that I talk to, they're dealing with, let's say, for example, gut issues. So chronic bloating, maybe some constipation, just a lot of perfectionism as well, which I tend to see a lot of that in my practice. So curious what you would say to someone with those types of symptoms, and maybe they tried everything, like you said, they're doing all the right things, eating healthy. How would NLP be beneficial in that way?
Yeah, so if they're working with someone like yourself, where they're getting the gut testing, and they're knowing how to change their diet, because that's a really great place to start too. Is once you get your physiology working in your favor, you're much more open to the mindset stuff as well. And we know that when our physical body is stressed out, it can make our mind spin, right? It can be harder to calm the thoughts down. So it's like how doing breath work is really helpful to then be able to get into a deeper meditation. It's because you're shifting your physiological state first. So I would say, definitely still do those things. Also, if you're continuing to put bad fuel into your body, like processed foods and a lot of chemicals, then you're kind of working against yourself too. We want to support all different layers and levels of your well-being. So definitely focus on those things. And then when it comes to the mindset piece, so the process that I go through when I work with any client is I prefer doing a full breakthrough session with somebody around their health. And so it's actually a 10 to 11 hour process where we go deep. But imagine somebody who's gone through years of therapy, talk therapy, where they're just continuously talking about their problems, maybe some mindset reframes here and there. And I'm not saying that that's not helpful. It helps a lot for a lot of different things. But if you've been doing that for so long and you're not making progress, understand that NLP works at a different level. So a lot of talk therapy works at the conscious level. NLP works at the subconscious level. So before I get into what I would say to this person, I just want to talk a little bit more about what NLP actually does and how it works to better understand for anybody who is listening. So like I mentioned, it works at the unconscious level. And our unconscious mind is where our beliefs are formed. And that's often from when we were very young, from ages 0 to 7, is when we're so open to understanding and picking up what life's all about. And we're taking in all this new information. And so then we create beliefs based off of what our experiences have been. Like, oh, this person's yelling and I'm not receiving love. What do I then need to do differently to get that love? Or my parents are fighting and that makes me feel unsafe. I need safety as a baby. And so do I cry or do I suppress myself? That's just a couple small examples. Or let's just say you're at school with your friends and you're like, oh, I know the answer to the question at the class, and your teacher calls on you and you get it wrong. And then all the kids around you are laughing. Oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's not smart. I just created that belief in that moment. I'm not smart. So then I'm going to avoid other situations in the future to avoid that same embarrassment or negative emotions that were created at that moment. So these things that were created over, these moments that we had, they're called significant emotional events. And so when we're young and we experience these things, and what actually classifies an event as a significant emotional event is when it feels significant. Like there's a significant amount of emotion that you feel in that moment, and it's intense, and it's also there's a frequency to it. So maybe there's one significant event, like for example, somebody who was abused. That might be significant enough for their nervous system to register that as a threatful situation. But for other people, it might be small things over time, but that one belief that was created in that small instance continued to be reaffirmed over multiple experiences of the same thing. So it's either the intensity or the frequency that can contribute to that belief being created. And so what this is doing at a physiological level in the nervous system is it puts you in fight or flight. When you're in that fight or flight state, your body's like, I'm not safe. So then your mind is trying to figure out ways to protect you. And your unconscious mind is what's helping to prevent you from getting hurt. And so we create these beliefs, and then that shifts our behavior and that dictates our outcomes. So what NLP does is it basically goes through and it finds those events that happened in the past and helps you to let them go. Helps you to either process the emotions you never were able to in that moment because you didn't feel safe. And that's where some of the somatic piece comes into play as well. And then it also helps you to release those negative emotions at the subconscious level too. So I go through and we release anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt or shame, anxiety, frustration, any other emotions around those different events. And you feel so much freer and lighter. And then the limited beliefs that were then created with that experience are also released too. So when I work with any client and they're going through a breakthrough session, I first do a deep, detailed personal history to understand what's actually happened in their past that might be contributing to where they're at now and where they've been stuck. Or what patterns have they created? What strategies have they developed to keep them safe? And oftentimes what kept us safe when we were a kid is actually harming us as an adult. And so we need to understand that now as an adult. How do I release that? How do I think differently? How do I act differently? Because what I actually want to experience is something different than I am. There's a gap. So how do we bridge that gap? So after we do a detailed personal history, I do what's called mental emotional release. So mental emotional release is that process where we go into the subconscious mind and release those negative emotions around those significant events or those specific beliefs. So after going through the detailed personal history, I'm uncovering what's that root belief. The root belief that when we release that belief, all the other things go away too. Because that root one often contributes to a lot of the other presenting problems that someone's experiencing. So as you know, with root cause medicine, with functional medicine, you're getting rid of the root. So NLP is like getting the mindset root out of the way, that subconscious root.
Which is deeply tied to the nervous system and a lot of physical ailments as well. So
exactly. So oftentimes for somebody who comes to me with a specific presenting problem or symptoms that they're experiencing, I'll go through, I have a whole resource guide that I reference and say, okay, gut issues. So let's just say it's IBS or gut, permeability. So, okay, they've got gut permeability issues, gut issues, IBS. All right. Oh, that is, there's something in their life that they're struggling to digest. There's a life experience that they haven't been able to fully digest yet. What is that? And how can we help them to digest it in a different way or to feel safer to digest it? And so that's one example. And it's nuanced depending on the person, but that's more of a generic situation. And so oftentimes, when you go through the list and you start to see, all right, they got this symptom, this symptom, this symptom. Okay, well, does that correlate with these different things that they've maybe held on to subconsciously? And it's another approach to releasing the things that are contributing to the physical ailments. So as we all know, our body keeps the score. Like that's something that often that's talked about. There's even a book about that. And what that actually means is our physical body is a barometer. It's constantly communicating to us what's going on at a deeper level. So symptoms aren't something to be ignored. They're something to listen to, right? So this is just another approach we can take to actually listen to it and release at a different level. So there's other things that we then do through the breakthrough session. And this isn't just all at one sitting, right? Like there's steps to the process, and the whole process might take a couple weeks. But imagine a process that works in only a couple weeks versus being in therapy for years.
Right.
Because we're getting to the root and we're working at the subconscious level. And oftentimes when I work with clients through this type of work, not just in their physical health, but career, relationships, family, personal development, spirituality, after we do the release work, they're like, what just happened? Like I don't know what just happened. Like they're confused, but they're like, why do I feel so much better?
Feel lighter.
I feel lighter. And that was so easy to just release. Why was that so easy? And often the hardest part about releasing the stuff that's been holding you back isn't the actual release work itself. It's the decision to let it go. Yeah. And so once you're ready to let it go, the release actually happens very quickly. And it amuses me when I'm working with a client and in that detailed personal history, I'm writing down everything they're saying. Like, oh, I'm not worthy of this, or I don't feel good enough for this, or, this love actually means this, or I don't feel like I'm this, or whatever the things are, or I feel a block in this area of my life. After we do the release work, I go back and I read those back to them, and I'm checking to see if the release work was done. And I'll read things back to them and they'll say, I don't believe that.
That doesn't resonate anymore.
Or like, did I say that? They don't recognize themselves. Yeah. And some clients will think the release didn't work because they've shifted so much. They no longer can be in tune or identify with the old version of themselves. Yep. And so for me as the facilitator, I'm like, woo! Like it's so rewarding because I'm like, ooh, it's like a project. And yeah. So, and of course there's an integration period, right? Like we're working at the subconscious level, but there's 4 requisites to change. The first step is the release work. The second step is to know where you're going. So after we release the things that are getting in the way, the next step is to actually have a plan. So like what is your goal now? Now that you've released this stuff, where are you going? So if it's with your physical health, it's like, what does your ideal health look like? What does that mean to you? And so now we know where we're going. Then the third step, so the first 2 steps we work through together in the breakthrough session. The third step is then taking that aligned action. You got to actually start doing the things that now align with what you believe. But doing the things to support your health is a lot easier when your beliefs are more supportive of those supporting actions.
Less self-sabotage, for sure.
Yeah, so we're getting rid of the things that might make it difficult for somebody to avoid going to the gym or want to eat the unhealthy stuff instead. Like we're helping to remove resistance for them to actually do the things that are supportive. Yeah. So then the 4th step is also to maintain that positive mindset around your end goal with health. Like, believing that it's possible for you and trusting that. So there's those 4 requisites for change. You got to do all 4 in order to see the shift in your life. Like for somebody who comes to me, for example, if they're like, hey, I want to lose weight. Like, okay, we'll release the stuff in the way, but they still got to go to the gym. They still got to eat healthy. They're not going to lose 50 pounds overnight just because we did the release work. They might feel lighter without needing to actually shed the weight physically, but so there's that expectation that I make sure that my clients are aware of is it's a team effort. So they gotta put the work in too. So.
Yeah, and on the weight loss piece, because a lot of women I talk to, that's one of their goals. It's like, if you've been in this, whether it's weight loss, whether it's having gut issues, whether it's having hormone issues with your period or fertility, it's like, if you've been in this state for so long, your core belief gets wrapped in that identity. So you actually believe that's just how you are, and you have doubt that you're actually going to heal. And so when you sit down and you uncover what those blocks are and what they actually mean, where they're coming from, it's life-changing, because then it kind of releases that layer of like, no, you can't do this. No, this isn't going to work. Well, fuck it. We'll just eat whatever.
Or I deserve to eat this because I just did that.
Gym. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, and there's different avenues to do this, of course. There's a lot of different types of therapies. There's even more subconscious work. There's NLP, which is obviously incredible. And, you know, having accountability as well with your NLP coach, with your practitioner, and kind of like rounding it out with your team of guides, I guess. But yeah, like, that's why I always, when I'm working with a client, you have to start with like, okay, what do you actually want? Like, how good do you want to feel? But also keeping in mind that, like, if you've never felt that good before, if you've never felt that free, then you might not know what your reality is going to feel like in the future. So like, NLP is kind of having that faith and belief of like, I don't really know what I need to release or what I'm going to release, but like, I'm open, and I know this is going to help me up level and get to that next level.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is often the hardest part when it comes to addiction, is somebody who has an addiction, whether it be with food, whether it be with drugs or alcohol or other things, they're getting that immediate gratification from consuming the thing because it's filling some sort of void. Now, what happens, we know at the brain level, is the neurotransmitters that are released, that are like the feel good, like the dopamine usually, that the amount you then need to consume to get the same dopamine hit increases with time. So you need to have more of the substance to get even just like a little bit of dopamine over time.
Scrolling on social media.
And then the downside of that too is once you take away that stimulant of the dopamine, you have that crash, that low, you're even more miserable. And so oftentimes people that are caught in that cycle, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't know how good they can actually feel because they've never felt that before. They've only felt this artificial good from something outside of them. And how disempowering is that? To think you have to depend on something outside of you to receive that benefit that's already intrinsic within you. And so what I hope with the clients I work with who are struggling with these things is that I'm able to help encourage them, to show them that what they actually want is possible, and there's another way. And I would say the other way doesn't mean that it's easier. It usually comes with a lot of hardship and growing pains, because you're shifting into a different version of yourself you've never been. And if you've been carrying this belief for so long, it might feel foreign to you to even think it's possible. Like, can I actually be that healthy? Can I actually be that happy? Can I actually be that, whole? And it's possible for everybody. And the other thing too that I've noticed being in, this type of field that I'm in, with helping people with their health and their life, is I can pick up so much easier now when people aren't living in alignment with their truth. And the heartbreaking thing is when I care about people and I want to help them, but they're not open to receiving the help. And I've had to learn how to separate myself. And something that, you know, it's a catch-22, I guess would be the right way to say it, because I've done all this training and I've received all this support and guidance over these years and all the tools I've collected. I'm like, I almost feel like this sense of needing to, like, this justice piece of, I need to help give people justice that they can be healthy and feel healed, you know, whatever that looks like for them. But at the same time, I also have to recognize that not everybody's ready for that. And so I want to say, this is not for everybody. It can help everybody if you're open and ready to do the work, but it's not for everybody at this time.
Yeah.
So I do say, if anybody is listening to this and wants to do this type of release work, I ask you to ask yourself in an honest way, are you actually ready to let it go? Because a lot of time there's secondary gain that people experience from the things they're holding on to. But what my job is then to help them shift their mindset of what is it that they're actually gaining instead from letting it go.
Yeah.
And that's the thing they actually are looking for, that they actually want. So that's a component to it. And what I've also learned is that, and this is something that my teacher taught me with, you know, one of the lead trainers of the NLP that work that I did, was he told a story about his grandfather and how he was really sick with cancer. And he so badly wanted to help his grandfather heal. He's like, I've got the tools. Like, I know what's causing this. You need a breakthrough session. Like,
yeah,
come on. And his grandfather wasn't willing to let it go. He wasn't ready or wanting to do the work. And so something his dad then told him, who's also an NLP master, he said, everybody's entitled to have their baggage and hold on to it, but everybody's also entitled to be able to let it go. And so some people want to hold on to their baggage.
Yeah. That's
some people
what you
don't.
see when you're walking around and you're like, okay, that person's going to be in the same place that they're at right now because of how they talk, because of their beliefs. Like I said, if you believe that you're not going to heal, you're not. It's like, if you believe it, it's true. And I think we can probably relate to this, and some other people listening, is like, you see family members and friends that you're like, oh, if you would just like do this, take these supplements, like be open to this, like deal with the reason that you're doing these things in your life that are harming your health and your body and your mind, like you would feel like a different person than you've never experienced. And it's like, you can have so much good intention behind that and come at it with facts and all the things, but it's like everyone's on a different timeline, and that's the hardest part about being in this work, is just like accepting that. Like even my parents just going home for the holidays and seeing like all the shit that they're eating, and like that was really hard for me when I first started learning about all this stuff, is like, oh my god, they're eating butter with canola oil in it, and like, oh my god, and then I have to eat it. It's like, it's a whole thing. But you know, it's also a beautiful moment when you live your truth and you live in alignment, and then you start to inspire people around you. Like a couple years after I started getting into this, my dad came to me and he was like, hey, I'm having some health issues. And we like, what would you recommend? And he actually let me run functional labs on him and give him a supplement protocol, and he took it and he felt a lot better. And it's like, that moment right there was like, as soon as you release it, it's like weight loss. Like as soon as you release the expectation, like I need to lose weight, or you're like, I need to do this or make this money or whatever, release it and like work on those subconscious blocks too. That's when everything starts to fall into place. It's like you stop like trying and pushing, and it's great. So
you let go of the control.
Right.
And that reminds me of something the shaman told me. So I also cater retreats, and I was catering his retreat, and he was talking about the concept of when you meet somebody with push, they're going to meet you with push in return. And to actually help somebody that you want to help, you learn to love them exactly as they are in that moment. Because if we're living in both a non-dual and dual reality, dual would mean that it's I am me, you are you, we're separate. Non-dual would be that we're actually one. So when you're practicing helping somebody from a non-dual place. It's, oh, you're just a reflection of me. If I'm wanting to help you, I'm actually wanting to help myself. But if I think there's something that needs to be fixed about you, then what is it that I'm saying about myself? In order to love you and actually help you, I accept you and honor you as you are. I'm going to be over here. So what you're doing is energetically, you're releasing the grip from that person. So it actually makes you more attractive from them. So they will then look over to you and see, oh, what is she doing? Like, she seems happy. She seems healthy. Like, oh my gosh, she just like lost the weight, or she improved her health, or like all this stuff. And they're like, I want to know what she's doing.
It's like, I want what she's having. Like, I want that.
Yes. Yeah. It's the Harry Met Sally. I want what she's having.
Exactly.
So, and that's where you lead by example. I had to learn this the hard way, by trying to help people and meeting that resistance. But especially if they're coming to me for help, though, that was the hardest thing. Like when I was in the clinic full time and a patient would come to me and be like, I really want to get healthy. I really want to get healthy. I'm like, okay, well, here's all the educational resources. Take these supplements, do these treatments, do this, eat these things. And then they'd come back and I'd be like, so did you do it? And they're like, no. I'm like, why? I thought you wanted to get healthy. Yeah, but, and then all the but excuses come up. And I was like, what am I missing? Because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste their time. So I was like, that's when I was like, okay, there's something else to this mental component of the beliefs and the own resistance. Yeah, the attachment of like, the not able to let go of their current comfort safety net. And as we both have experienced, we've let those safety nets go in different ways by traveling, by starting our businesses, by doing these things. And that takes a lot of courage. Yeah. And not everybody can do that. I've met plenty of people who choose to work the same job the rest of their lives in the same hometown with the same people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody, again, it's like everybody's entitled to live the life they want to live. Yeah. But everybody's also entitled to do whatever they want with their life. Yeah. And go against the grain. Take a leap of faith. And what I've found in my experience, I'm always supported. Yeah. And I might not understand why I'm doing this in the moment, or like the people around me might not get it, but they see the journey I've been on. And they're like, ooh, you got somewhere. Yeah. And I don't know how you did it, but you got there. Right. And now I want to go there too. And so I've learned, it's hard, but I've learned how to let go of the control, especially when you have your own business and you're like, oh, I got to meet certain quotas, or I, want to fill my schedule, or whatever it is, or wanting to help and do good.
Exactly. And I think like you and I can relate on like the solo traveling and just like experiencing cultures in life. And it's like, I'm sure you've gotten this of like, how did you solo travel by yourself? Like, isn't that scary? Isn't that dangerous? Yeah. And you're just like, no, it's not. Like, it's just there's something inside of us that's like, that sounds fun. That sounds exciting. Like you're not scared because we've learned to enjoy our own company. We're not afraid of being alone. We are, we're able to dream and build and do that within ourselves and find our own happiness. And so I think that's what you need to have or at least that's what you need to aspire to have when you're embarking on a health journey, when you're embarking on healing trauma and healing these things that have been holding you back. Like people know what their blocks are. They just don't want to accept it. They don't want to give up the alcohol or the caffeine or the junk food, sugar, or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Because it's an attachment, like we said.
Yeah, all these people don't want to give these things up. And I will say that, yes, I've traveled the world. Yes, I have my own business. Yes, all these things. That's my journey. And if somebody wants to work with me, I don't expect them to want to live the life that I do. Yeah. I want to help them find out what their ideal is and release anything get in the way of that. Whether that's, to feel physically better, to, manifest their dream partner, to, go to that next level, have a family, like all this stuff with their career and whatever that is. Because we're all living our own unique journeys, and I'm here to walk the path with you. And I have tools that can help you to release the things in the way. So that's my intention.
I love that. And I saw you post about that the other day, and I think that was like a powerful reminder. Like, we're not trying to create mini us's. We're trying to create or help people reach their full potential, whatever that is for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and so many people with the influencer culture of social media see how other people are living, and it's the comparison of, I want to live the way that they're living. Well, my life sucks because they're doing it like this, but also that's a highlight reel. You don't know what's going on.
It's like, you could look at, I look at influencers now and I'm like, ooh, this is a next level for me. Like this person is living a way that I'm now inspired to live. Like, thank you. I get to see another goal that I have, instead of oh, I want to be that, whether it's what they look like or what they have or their mindset or whatever. You can be inspired by different things. I did want to talk about, yeah, exactly. I did want to talk about our session that we had a couple weeks ago. So Katie did an NLP session with me, and it wasn't the 12-hour breakout session or breakthrough session, but it was like a mini session, just so I could get a taste and really understand how it works. And I know there's way more things that we could have dove into, but one of the things that we did, the techniques in the time that we had, I thought was pretty profound. And basically you have your two hands, you're holding your two hands up, and I visualize worst case scenario of my life and goals and all that, and then best case scenario, and how what the feelings are behind those two scenarios. And it was a values-based exercise, I believe. So really,
it's called parts integration.
Okay.
So so you basically put a part. So if you ever were to say, oh, part of me wants this, another part of me wants that, you do what's called a parts integration, where you have those parts come out on each hand and you're talking to them and you're trying to understand each part's highest intention. And you realize that they both actually have the same highest intention. You integrate them back into yourself, so you're no longer fragmented. So what was your experience with that?
Yeah, so that was it. It was one hand was worst case, my fears, and the other hand was best case, how I feel when I'm living how I want to live. And underneath, what are those values? What are those feelings on both sides? And then you realize they're the same. You desire the same thing. You're scared of not feeling this way. When you're here, you're feeling this way. So it's you're able, and then you actually physically bring those two together and you kind of combine them. And it kind of makes that worst case scenario less scary, because it's oh, those two versions of me, or whatever they are, it's they're actually more connected than you think. And there's less separation. So it just kind of brings more clarity and solidifies what your values actually are in life, and helps you recalibrate and go after your goals more clearly. So I thought it was great, and that was just a mini session, so I can only imagine the breakthroughs that would come from a bigger session. But so thank you for that.
And I saw you posting more. You really
that was one of my blocks, is I don't love posting on social media, creating the actual content on the carousel posts and all of that. It always takes me more time than I think, and then I get frustrated. So it was overcoming some blocks around that of okay, I need to see what the fear is underneath that. Is it fear of being seen? Is it fear of what would happen if I am consistent and my business is even more successful and I'm able to help more people? What does that look like? And so exploring that was really, really cool. And as we've talked about, there's many different areas that process can apply to. That was one that was top of mind then. So really, really grateful to you for doing this work. And it's been really cool to watch your journey. Katie and I have hosted retreats together for other practitioners, and I've just been able to see you dive into these different ways of healing, and it's really cool. So
thank you. Yeah. Gosh, it's been a couple of years now, I'm realizing, since we met, and I feel like that was lifetimes ago, and we both have grown so much.
Yeah, it's wild.
But it's the through line is the same. We're still in the business or in the art of wanting to help people heal, and It's
Yeah,
just we're shifting our approach as we continue to learn and grow and evolve.
exactly. And it's cool,
Yeah.
and we can learn from each other. Like, obviously you can help my audience with NLP and that subconscious reprogramming work. And to know Katie is like, you have this mindset around the world of like, Katie is the type of friend that like you're walking and you're like, oh my God, did you see that flower? It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. And then she'll just like take the most incredible random picture. Oh my God. There's like a thumbs down if you're listening. You'll take the most incredible picture just out of nowhere, and you'd be like, "You took that on your what?" And it's just the way your brain views the world, and that's why you've had these incredible synchronicities and experiences. And your mindset you're constantly working on your mindset and your outlook on life. So I think that's a reflection of like your inner and outer beauty. So just wanted to say
Thank
that.
you.
But
Thanks.
yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, it was so fun in Greece when we were taking all
Oh
those
my God, we were just
pictures and stuff.
laughing our butts off at the most random stuff.
Yeah.
It was fun. Okay, well, I will wrap this up, but if you guys want to work with Katie, she's going to tell you how to find her and learn more info.
Yeah, so you can go in this description notes of the podcast, and Avery will have it all linked. But the easiest way to connect with me is through my Instagram, which is by Catherine with a C, Ruffino, Ruffino. And yeah, I also have a YouTube channel called Katie in the Kitchen by Sunnyside KT, and that's where my cooking show is. I just launched season 2, so gonna be posting some more episodes soon. And then I also have a website, sunnysidekt.com, so you can look at all the different offerings there and book a call with me.
Yeah, definitely follow her on Instagram and check out her stuff. And for anyone who's interested, you'll be able to do that breakthrough session, NLP. And yeah, thank you so much again. And I hope that people resonated with this and that you're inspired to go after your dreams and get rid of your subconscious blocks.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments or DM, us to let us know what was your favorite part or what was a realization that came up for you while you were listening to this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hope you
Thanks,
guys have
Avery.
a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, Katie, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.